What's going on, Muscle Monsters? Alain Gonzalez here. I'm actually right outside of the gym. Excuse me. And typically, I'll sit out here. I will sip on some coffee and listen to a podcast, and then just go into the gym. Yesterday, I posted on Instagram for some Q&A, and I got a few questions, really good ones, and so I figured I would give each of them their own video. In this video, we were asked how I stay motivated when it comes to fitness, right? She goes on to state that she'll have moments where she's motivated and then other moments where it's just shit, all right? And so how do I stay motivated? And I think it's an interesting question because my mindset operates a little bit differently when it comes to motivation. You see, I'm a big believer in, and this may come off slightly stoic, because I'm a huge fan of stoicism, but I'm a big believer in doing shit even when you don't feel like doing shit, right? So for example, as many of you know, I run a business from home, and it requires a shit ton of work, right? Now, every day I'm not necessarily pumped and motivated to do certain things in that business. However, I do them anyway because I know that those are the things that need to be done to get me to where I want to go. And I kind of look at fitness the same way, right? It's not every day I get here. In fact, today, I don't really feel like walking in and training, right? I'm just not up for it. I'm not pumped. I'm not motivated per se. However, I'm here. I'm going to go in and I'm going to kill my workout because I know that this is one of the small steps I have to take to get to where I want to get to. Top of that, if I start missing workouts and things like that, might not be a huge deal to miss this workout this week, right? But what that does for you is, in the long term, right, it makes you feel as if it's okay, right, to put things off. And once you start giving into that resistance, over time, that might turn into 2 days. Oh, it's not a big deal. That might turn into, maybe I'll just go when I feel like it. And then eventually you're not going, and things of that nature. Now, it's not always going to be that extreme, but you get the idea, right? When you give into the resistance, you're training yourself to give into that resistance, because usually that small, that one thing, that one workout you missed doesn't have a negative impact, right? And so because it doesn't, you think it's okay, and you do it again and again, and you train yourself to give in to that feeling of resistance, right? And so how do I stay motivated? I don't. I just do the work anyways, right? Because I know that if I don't do the work, I'm not going to get to where I want to get to. And I have a very clear vision in terms of what I want to look like, how strong I want to be, where I want to take my business. And so because I have those clear visions, I know that I have to take certain steps. And so I take those steps regardless of how I feel, right? And once you can get that, once you can switch your mindset to that, right, to doing shit regardless of how you feel, you'll get a lot further ahead, whether it's business, school, fitness, etc., right? Because a lot of the time, we allow the way we feel to dictate the actions we take. If I were to do that, for example, I wouldn't get as far ahead as I've gotten. And it's going to be the same for you. If you dictate your actions based on how you feel, you're never going to get anywhere far, right? Because, chances are you're not fucking waking up every morning pumped to go work out and kill some PRs, pumped to work on that business for, 14 hours. And so you just don't do it. So when you can put the emotions aside and just do it anyway, that's when you're going to win. You can basically win at anything when you don't let the way you feel determine the things you do, All right, so I think that's the biggest takeaway, right? Do shit regardless of how you feel. If you have a goal, just understand the simple fact that you're not going to reach that goal unless you do that work. That in and of itself should be more than enough motivation, right? The fact that you want to slip into that swimsuit this summer and you can't right now, that should be enough motivation, right? And so for me, for example, with the business, I want to grow it to a certain point, and I know that if I say, oh fuck it, I don't need to work today, and I have that mentality because I'm not quote unquote motivated, I'm not going to get there. And if I do get there, it's going to take me a hell of a lot longer, right? Not to mention going back to letting yourself give in to that resistance, okay? Over the long term, that will destroy you, okay? Because it doesn't just prohibit you from going to the gym or working on that new business or even starting that new business, but all areas of your life when you start putting shit off. All right, so that's pretty much it, guys. If you have a goal in mind, forget the way you feel, okay? Fuck it, it doesn't even matter. You don't have to be motivated at all, right? As long as you know where you want to get to, you fucking do the work and get there. If you don't do the work, you're not going to get there, and that right there by itself should be more than enough to get your ass out of bed. Talk soon.